Today's topic of discussion is self-sabotage. Have you ever noticed how everything can be going right and then right before the breakthrough, somehow everything falls apart? You could be eating clean for 6 weeks and then the night before the progress pictures, you suddenly decide to binge eat. Or you're working on a project, everything's going really well, you're super passionate, 80% is complete, and then for some reason you decide to just abandon it. Or you could meet someone that's great and then seek 10 reasons why it won't work or something's wrong. Or you're about to have a breakthrough and then all of a sudden you pick a fight, get sick, get distracted, and then just like that, you're back to square one. And if you are experiencing this, it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. So if you can relate, listen to me, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you view yourself. You don't have a discipline problem, you don't have a motivation problem, you have something entirely different. And once you see it and you create that level of awareness, the entire thing will break and you can finally move on past the point where you usually see resistance and when you usually see the pullback and the setback and that heading back to square one. But first of all, I want to share with you why most advice when it comes to self-sabotage typically fails. And it's not because it's misinformation, it's because you're trying to solve the wrong issue. You're trying to cure the symptoms as opposed to the cause. The issue with your self-sabotage is because your brain, your body, your mind is organized and created in such a specific way to keep you safe. So when you reach these points of breakthrough and you reach these points of change, you will essentially self-sabotage, not because you dislike yourself, but because staying where you are in a familiar territory, whether that familiar territory is misery and you feel so motivated and inspired to make a change, get to the next level, or see something different in your life, even though it sounds like the logical thing to do is to push forward, make the change and finish the task, it is an unknown territory, it's uncharted waters. But most advice on self-sabotage is trying to treat it as a discipline problem or a motivation problem, telling you to just push through, just keep going, you can do this. But it doesn't matter how much motivation you are given if subconsciously you are designed to hold yourself back. No matter how motivated you are, you're always going to meet the same point in the road. And that's why it doesn't work, because you've already tried that. You've tried to out-muscle the self-sabotage, and every single time you end up back at square one. It just doesn't work, does it? But here's the truth that no one's telling you. Self-sabotage is not a flaw. It's a defense mechanism. Your nervous system isn't broken, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do, keeping you safe from things that it thinks are dangerous. That the only problem is its distinction of what is dangerous, because it's not seeking a saber-toothed tiger anymore. It's trying to prevent you from visibility, from being seen, from this new version of you that is so eager to emerge. So with the times, as we feel like we've evolved or grown, the protection mechanism that we have inside of us has gone from prehistoric, simply keeping us safe and alive, to protecting our ego, protecting our identity, and being so concerned about what most other people will think of us. Your sabotage isn't trying to ruin you, it's trying to protect you. But until you understand what it is protecting you from, no amount of pushing harder is ever going to work. But here could be some of the causes of your self-sabotage, because your brain would rather choose a known discomfort over an unknown comfort, which is why it will choose a known bad situation over an unknown good one. And it's why people stay in jobs that don't fit them, don't suit them. They stay in relationships that don't serve them and identities that have outgrown them. And sabotage is the system that pulls you back to what it recognizes. Known is safe, unknown is a threat, even when the unknown is the better option. Some other potential causes that could be the reason why you are self-sabotaging. You can't get a result that your identity cannot hold. If the version of you who hits the income goal, gets the great relationship, finishes the project, doesn't yet exist in your sense of self, you're continuously going to sabotage to prevent that version ever existing. And it's not because you want to fail, it's because it's bringing you back to what is already known. Which is why sabotage will kick in when you're 80% of the way there and not 0. Because the closer you get to the new version of yourself, to attaining that goal, the more of a risk and a threat it actually feels. Which is why the sabotage gets louder as the progress continues. But you wouldn't sabotage something that you didn't care about. So the fact that you keep stopping yourself is proof that you are getting closer to what it is you want to achieve. But as always in these videos, I like to give you real-time examples of times that I've experienced self-sabotage and what I had to overcome to pretty much get to where I am now, and how my journey through self-sabotage, through personal development, has enabled me now to share these points, not just from theory, but from personal experience. And a time that I used to self-sabotage quite frequently was actually content creation, where I would get so close to posting a reel, or I would create a video, I'd have it scheduled, have it ready to go, and last minute I would think, maybe I'm going to delete it, maybe I'm going to rewrite what I wanted to speak about, maybe I'm going to change the captions, change the title, and that wasn't just because I suddenly had a better idea, or I thought there was another way I could operate, or there was maybe something that would land better. It was because I now knew that once that video went live or that piece of content went out, I was almost making myself vulnerable to the world. So what my mind was doing, my brain was doing, trying to keep me safe and prevent that level of vulnerability turning into something more, it would try and prevent me from uploading the video, because I would think to myself, if this even does go the way I want it to, what if someone thinks this? What if this changes the way I'm viewed? So although I'd already done the work, as I mentioned, I'm 80% of the way there. Everything is prepared and ready to go. I'm just waiting for the video to upload. I would stop myself last minute. But I would label myself as a perfectionist before I understood what true self-sabotage is. And what I've come to learn as time's gone on is perfectionism is actually just procrastination disguised as quality control. We can convince ourselves that we want it to be absolutely perfect. We want the work to be perfect, the project to be perfect. Everything has to be exactly as we imagined it. But what that actually is us buying ourselves more time by procrastinating on the action being taken, because although we say we want the outcome, our mind is actually afraid of what the outcome could look like, even if it sounds 10 times better than where we already are. Because as I mentioned, the unknown is a threat, and the known is safety, even if the unknown logically sounds like a better place to be. But now we've established what self-sabotage is, and I've shared almost an experience where I felt self-sabotage, which may be relatable to yourself if you're looking to get into content creation or it's a similar situation. I want to give you 5 steps that you can follow to overcome your self-sabotage and have it stop re-emerging in your life. Because yes, you can overcome it once, you can outsmart it or outwit it one time, but with self-sabotage, it is, as I mentioned, it's a frequency, it's a way of living, and it's an internal dialogue that you will follow and return to over and over again. So how can you break the cycle entirely and move on beyond this point of self-sabotaging? Step 1, name the pattern, don't fight it. You cannot fix what you cannot see. So start to be more aware of every time these feelings of self-sabotage emerge. Document it for an entire week, and after day 7, it's going to become so integrated in you to recognize the patterns of self-sabotage that you are going to now be aware when you start to see it emerge. Do this without judgment, no attempt of trying to fix it. This is about being data-driven, and once you see the pattern clearly, awareness alone is going to weaken it. Step 2 is finding the function. Every sabotage behavior is solving a problem. Ask yourself, if I succeed at this, what will I have to face, give up, or become? The answer is usually under the surface and usually very surprising. Step 3, step into the identity before the result. You can't hold a result that your identity cannot accommodate. So visualize, what does that version of you that has the things you want, how do they carry themselves? How do they look? How do they think? How do they feel? And start acting as them now, not as a reward, but as the entry ticket to who it is you are trying to become. Step 4, lower the stakes. Sabotage gets louder when you've made completion a referendum on your self-worth. Just strip out the meaning. A launch is just a launch. A race is just a race. Less weight is less reason for the system to intervene. And step 5, build environmental support. Sabotage thrives in isolation. So by telling one person of a task you're going to complete this week, that slashes the probability of sabotage by over half, because sabotage hates visibility. So visibility kills sabotage way faster than willpower ever will. And although I've given you 5 steps on how you can make this happen, I also want to share with you a mantra that I've been following, written down for myself for quite some time now. And whenever you feel that overwhelming urge to sabotage, This is a little reminder that I read to myself to remind myself that it is just a defense mechanism and it doesn't have to define me. So here it is. Listen to me when you're stopping yourself. You're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're protected by a part of you that's been doing this job for years, keeping you safe from things that aren't actually dangerous anymore. The work isn't to fight that version of you, the work is to update them. So show them, through small kept promises, through doing it anyway, through letting yourself be seen, that the thing that you're protecting you from isn't a threat anymore, it's the life that you're trying to build. And the fact you keep getting close to it, that's not proof that you're failing, that's proof you're closer than you've ever been. If this video hit and you felt like it gave you a sense of direction to how to overcome your self-sabotage, make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what area it is you're sabotaging in. Because for me, mine was always in content creation and serving my purpose, which I believe is sharing these messages through my hardships, through my adversity, sharing the lessons I gained and the blessings I gained out of those hardships to those that are maybe encountering something right now. They're unaware of what they're going through, but they're willing to do what it takes to overcome these setbacks. So be sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe so you're notified of all future uploads. My name's Harley. Do the work, trust the process, and I'll see you in the next one.